everyone, it's Mary Ellen, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things related to the storytelling industry. If you don't already know me, I write nonfiction under my real name, Mary Ellen Quigley, and I write romance under my pen name, M.E. Laverne. And today's video is going to be just a catch-up video for you guys because I have been absent for a little while, and it is time to give you guys an update on what I've been up to. Well, as you guys know, I have been gone for a while. There has been a lot going on in my personal life that has kept me off of YouTube and away from writing. And I think the best way to really explain what I've been up to is to take you to the scene of the crime. But first of all, I want to thank everyone who has reached out to me recently. It has been a rough couple of weeks. And those of you who know me in real life, thank you for reaching out. Thank you for offering support. And we're just going to take it a day at a time and see how things go. But for those of you who are like, I don't know what you're talking about, I will show you. So I'm going to insert a clip here. Okay, I promised you guys an update, and I thought I would bring you out to the scene of the chaos, so that you get a full picture of everything that's going on. All right, so there are some major issues with my house that I know I've been needing to deal with since I bought the house. A lot of things are just old and need to be replaced. As you can tell from the siding, my roof's been patched. There's just a lot of things wrong with the house. And so I've been one by one knocking things out. And this year, my big project was supposed to be the deck because the deck was getting pretty rotted and just in bad shape. But around the time that I started getting estimates for the deck, I ended up finding out that my main sewer line was collapsed. Again, we knew the main sewer line was going because we have been getting it rotted out due to tree roots for a few years. But there have been so many major expenses that it just got put further down the list. Well, long story short, it collapsed. And so at that point, you have no choice but to replace the main sewer line because you have to go to the bathroom. So this is my state of my backyard as of right now. As you can see, my backyard is now a complete disaster zone. Everything has been dug up, obviously, to replace the main sewer line. It's dug up all the way to the house. Thankfully, they rerouted, so I did not have to tear up my patio. And so that saved me a little bit of money, but it was still close to $11,000 worth of damage. There's also deep ruts in my grass where they had to drive machinery. And so, at the end of the day, I know that this dirt will all settle back down and I can plant grass seed. And in a few years, this will be totally fine. But in the meantime, I have a dog and we're going into colder months where there's going to be rain and snow. And mommy is going to have a very muddy boy for a few months unless I can figure out how to get out here and fix this myself, which, as you guys know, with some of my health issues, is not really an option for me. So, because bad things apparently happen in threes, as you guys know, my deck was on the list of things that needed to be replaced because I knew it was getting rotted out. I knew it was getting spongy in spots. And so I knew that the life of the deck was just not very long. As you can see, even like look at my garage window, like there's so much that needs to be fixed in this house that honestly, it's kind of overwhelming. Hindsight being 2020, I don't know that I would have bought this house, but I did. And I'm here and I've been here for 4 years and I put a lot of money into the house so far. So I'm going to shut up and stay put, but it's very expensive. Okay, so back to the deck. Yeah, I got the main sewer line replaced on a Monday, and on Tuesday, I stepped out to take the dog potty while on a break from work and fell through the deck. Yes, fell through the deck. So this is the current situation with the deck, and you can't really see it very well from this angle, but I actually went through the thing, like my leg went in the hole here. I don't know if you can see it. There's like a hole. My leg was down in the hole and I had to do some maneuvering to get myself out of the hole. It was not fun. And I ended up having to go to the emergency room. I have basically like a sprained ligament. They thought maybe it was tore, but it's getting better with time. So I don't think it's tore. I think it's just sprained. So now the deck is out of commission, which means every time the dog has to go potty, it requires me to put clothes on and shoes and walk around the yard and let him in the backyard. So that's a lot of fun. The second thing that happened is, my beloved pool has been my saving grace all summer. And because of all of the dirt in the yard that got stirred up during the main sewer line fiasco, I ended up getting an algae bloom in my pool. And it was just from all of the dirt and sediment and stuff that was getting blown through the air that day. So you can't tell today because I got it cleared up, but my pool has been down for about 2 weeks. I had to basically triple shock the pool, which if you know anything about pools, that's a lot of chlorine. and I just got it clear. It took forever to clear it up. As of today, she is clear and the chlorine levels are finally at a swimmable level. So I'm hoping I can get in the pool today because my feet are ginormously swollen. And then again, to add to injury here, my garden boxes are rotted out. And because they're rotted, I now have wasps that are trying to make nests in my rotted boxes. So essentially, my backyard is a disaster area. And so the biggest issue that I'm just currently dealing with is I just feel overwhelmed because there's so much coming at me financially. I have so much that's wrong that I don't even know where to begin. And I didn't think it would be that expensive to tear out the deck and to put up like maybe a set of stairs. And I'm finding that even just putting up a set of stairs is several thousands of dollars. And I still have to figure out how I'm going to put straw or grass seed down so that Rudy's not muddy in the winter. There's just a lot going on. And there's been a lot of tears in the last couple of weeks and not a lot of time for writing. I have squeezed out a little bit of time for working on writing, but honestly, I've just been so preoccupied with all of this. On top of this, it's also budget season at work. So there's a lot of deadlines at work that I'm having to meet. And honestly, I keep telling myself I just got to make it because I have a vacation in October. And I keep telling myself I just need to make it. Now, realistically, we're not actually going on vacation anymore. We can't afford it. So we've canceled our actual vacation, but I've decided that I'm still taking the week off because I think I just need a week where I'm not working. I just need a week where I'm not working. And so I'm taking the week and I'm just going to do like a staycation and maybe do things locally because it'll be October. So there'll be like fall festivals and things that I can go hang out at. But I think I need a break. And in the meantime, like I said, I am absolutely overwhelmed with trying to figure all this out. And also the worst part about this is because we're going into Halloween season, it is busy season for the podcast. And to be 100% realistic, I don't have money to go to some of the events that we signed up for. So I may actually have to drop out of appearances because I can't afford to go. Every dollar I have needs to go towards the house right now because I have to figure this out before winter. I cannot see myself with my health and with my mobility issues taking the dog out in the snow. You know what I mean? I have to get this figured out before we start getting snow. And in Indiana, you can get snow as early as October, depending on how, the weather cooperates. But yeah, there hasn't been a lot of writing going on. So I'm going to wrap the rest of this up inside where there are no bees swarming my head. Well, as you guys can see, it has been a crazy few weeks. And on top of all that, I was down with a stomach bug earlier this week. I'm actually still a little bit under the weather today, but doing much better. So it has just been a nonstop roller coaster of like weirdness and trying to figure out how to navigate all of the things that are currently going wrong. But as far as writing goes, there hasn't been a whole lot of writing going on, but I have been working on some projects. So I'm just going to give you guys a really quick wrap up of all that I've been working on. So first and foremost, I am attempting the audiobook. I know I had mentioned it in a previous video, but the audiobook for When God and Cancer Collide, I am going to be hopefully publishing. My goal is to have it out by the end of August. So I have 3/4 of the audio files uploaded and edited and ready to go. I think I may put a couple of chapters up on like a privated YouTube video type thing and have a couple people just give me a quick listen to make sure that it sounds okay. So if you are interested in listening to like one or two short chapters, let me know and I will, send you the link and you can tell me what you think. But yeah, I figure, it's my own words. So if you're going to turn a book into an audiobook, this would be a really good one to test the waters with because it's just me talking in my own voice. I don't have to worry about really voice acting per se. So I'm attempting it. It's my very first audiobook, and we're going to see how it goes. But I'm about 3/4 of the way done. It really hasn't been very difficult. And because it's a devotional, each chapter is like 3 to 5 minutes in audio. So it's also a very short audiobook. So it's a really good, like, first jump into. And I've also had a couple people tell me that they have self published their audiobooks without doing the voice acting. They just read it as though they're like reading to a classroom of students and it's not 100% perfect or ideal, but it is a way to just open yourself up to a new market. So I'm also considering that for future books. But right now, my goal is to get that book completed, hopefully by the end of the month. So, anyways, if you're interested, leave me a comment, let me know, and I will get in touch with you and send you a couple chapters to listen and be like, hey, this sucks. So I know to go back to the drawing board, or hey, this sounds good, go forward and prosper. I'm just kidding, whatever the saying is. Second thing I've been working on is Growing Up Haunted. This is our tentative cover still. We haven't really fought because we're still writing the book. I actually have been working on this one, and what's nice about this is because, again, it's just personal stories. So those of you who don't know, my sister and I grew up in a haunted house, and so this is our recollection of growing up in the haunted house, different experiences that happened to us, and a short story my sister wrote, some history of the house, and then I'm going to be reaching out to people who grew up in Hammond to see if there's anybody who has ghost stories from the neighborhood who would like to maybe add like a little paragraph about their own paranormal experiences in the back. So this is really an ode to our childhood home and an opportunity to share, because that's the question we get asked when we go to paranormal events. Why do you guys like the paranormal so much? And it's like, well, we grew up in a haunted house, and then, well, tell me about it. And we have all these stories of weird, creepy things that have happened over the years that to somebody else would sound absolutely insane unless you grew up in a haunted house. And I think that most of my childhood friends had at least one paranormal experience in my house. The ghosts were pretty active, and it's just a really cool way to tie in the podcast. We are working really hard to wrap that book up so we can hopefully have it completely finished and have it ready to go when we go to the Crawfordsville Paranormal Convention, which is at the end of October, because we would like to have some copies to sell while we're at the convention. And also, it's just a good time to have a book about ghosts to have it available in October where it's spooky season. So that is our goal. That's what we're working on, and we're really excited about that. And then the third thing that I have been working on, as you guys know, I have been talking about diving into young adult romance. I have spent the last month and a half, 2 months, reading through really popular young adult series. And I've gone through all of the popular ones, right? I've done like the Summer I Turned Pretty series and like a whole bunch of just name one. And I'm still going through. My sister is actually a high school English teacher. And so I asked her to poll her students, be like, hey, what are some of your favorite books right now so I can go and read them? And I actually do think that the people who are recommending young adult to me are not wrong. I think that my books could very easily fall into young adult romance. I think that I'm going to have to go back, and for the books that are not written yet, I'm going to have to look at how to make their characters younger. So, for example, one of my works in progress, as you guys know, is Nocturne. That's my vampire romance that I was hoping to have out by the end of this year. And right now, the book is mostly done and it's written as an adult romance. The storyline is there. But what the problem with it is, like I've been talking about in previous videos, is I don't know where it fits because it has all the makings of a spicy romance, but it's not a spicy romance. And so I've had the idea of trying to go back and rework that plot and that storyline to see if I can make the characters younger. So instead of it being, I don't know, she moves to Chicago to start a new job, maybe she moves to Chicago to start a new school. You know what I mean? Like, how can I make them younger? And instead of him being like actually a warrior, maybe have him be like training to be a warrior. So there are ways to make the characters younger, have the same storyline, and because it's a young adult romance, you can have all of the bits and pieces leading up to that romance without going all of the way, if that makes sense. And I think it would actually fit what I'm wanting to do just a little bit better. I'm not 100% sold on it. I think I am going to test the waters. I am still researching because, again, I've been out of the young adult space for a long time. If you have some favorite young adult authors, leave them in the comments below so I can check out their books. But I'm still very much in the research phase. Outside of my audiobook and my Growing Up Haunted book with my sister, I don't have any other planned releases for this year because I'm still trying to wrap my head around what I want to do with my pen name. Do I even want to keep my pen name? Like, you know what I mean? Because I don't know. I'm still really kind of considering. And once I have that figured out, I have a better idea. So right now, I'm tentatively going to work on rewriting Nocturne and maybe coming up with a different title and making the characters younger and then see how it does. I may do a few chapters and then run them by some people just to get their opinion on the characters and whether I'm actually doing what I'm attempting to, like, if am I accomplishing what I'm attempting to accomplish, and go from there. But that is kind of what I'm working on. So audiobook, Growing Up Haunted, and potentially diving into young adult romance is really all I've been doing, and keeping my head above the water. So that's pretty much it. I do have a very busy fall coming up, but as I alluded to earlier in this video, I may be dropping out of some of those events. I do have one coming up that's a local event, but I may have to drop out of some things because I just can't afford to travel right now. But that's okay. To everything, there's a season. I know this is temporary and things will get better. So tell me about you guys though, because I have been absent, and I have been absent to the point where I have not even been watching people's videos. So what are you guys up to? What have I missed in the writing world? What are some wins that you're really proud of that you've accomplished in the last few weeks or last month or so? I would love to hear all about it. So tell me in the comments, let me know how you're doing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.